What's up, guys? Iceman here. Welcome to Meditations. So what a time to be alive, huh? The loneliness, the lack of friends. I saw this guy on YouTube talking about a study that indicated the average American adult only has 1 to 2 close friends. And 12% of them have no close friends at all. Things have changed, huh? I remember when I was a little duck-billed platypus growing up in the 90s. My buddies and I would just roam the streets, cause mischief, and a little bit of chaos. But we interacted, you know? There was growth involved, stimulation, learning. I don't know, I just can't help but wonder what's going on now in these days where people just don't really have friends. Do you guys have friends? Let me know in the comments of this video. I still hung on to a couple friends from years ago. The last friend that I made, if you don't count like guys on the channel and stuff, like in real person, you know, the last friend that I made was in 2013. This guy who was a couple years younger than me, and he was like just turned 21 or something. And we kind of kicked it off because he was into filmmaking, and we tried some stuff with film. I was like an actor in his films. It was a good time. And I'm still buddies with him. But I don't see him that much. People obviously just get busy, but what's going on here? I have another friend who isn't always doing so hot. Chips are down often, if you will. I think he likes hitting that bottle a bit much, if you know what I mean. He lives about 45 minutes away from here. I saw him about 2 years ago. We stay in contact through text. That's about it. He's the kind of guy that I almost like to keep at arm's distance because he got in some trouble, this and that. I mean, I just have a hard time trusting people too much, you know? I don't really want to put myself in a situation that involves illegal activity or whatever. I mean, I'm not going to do it, but, you know, I don't know, this guy, it kind of comes to get you when you hang out with folks like that. So I just keep him away, but I'll text him, check on him, how you doing, this and that. And then I have another friend who I'm only in slight contact with as of recent years again because he went through divorce. So he's pretty much on his own now, you know? Has a couple kids. He has about 30% custody. So we're talking again. But I mean, with the two guys that I know, I would say it's more me who just kind of like doesn't really want to hang out. You know, I like to do my own thing. And maybe that's part of the problem. I don't know. Maybe that's a problem. The other guy mentioned he holds Dungeons and Dragons events, right? And I joined up with him for a while, kind of out of obligation. I just didn't really want to sit there and play make-believe or whatever, right? But he and the group, and they knew that I was kind of into acting, and they invited me along, and he has a house that has a little dungeon that he built in it. It's a really nice setup. And it's a good time, but I mean, that's a long time to just sit on your ass. You know, like we're playing that game for 7 or 8 fucking hours straight. And to me, that's a bit much, especially if you're not drinking or smoking the bud, which I tried not to do. But I can't help but wonder if that's part of the reason these folks can just keep chugging along with this fucking game, you know? I don't know. I mean, maybe it would make it more enjoyable if I got drunk off my ass. But I'm just not looking to do that. So I was sitting there sipping on sparkling waters the whole fucking time. Yeah. And I played a lot. Several sessions, and then I kind of backed out and my character got killed off, so they just kept going. Well, that being said, what's going on here? I think people are on their phones so fucking much. Like for me, I know it's a bit of a struggle. You guys run into that? Where you get out of bed or whatever, you start doing your thing, and then you just kind of look at your phone, you start scrolling and shit, doom scrolling. I like checking Facebook Marketplace, so I'll just keep scrolling on that, just looking at all the new shit people in my community are listing. Then I'll check my emails, and I'll read my comments on my YouTube channels, because some of you know I have a lot of those. I'll read the comments, I'll reply to the comments, I'll just check on my views and everything else. Sure enough, an hour goes by, just doinking around on the phone, you know? And it seems to add up. What the hell's going on here? Man, in the 90s, in the 80s, people would get out. You ever seen those videos on YouTube of like the 90s or whatever? Guys walking around with all those big ass camcorders that take the VHS tapes, just kind of recording out in public. You just see people and they're all interacting, you know, they're all talking with each other, even strangers. You just don't see that anymore. Now you look at the videos on YouTube and you see the folks on the train, on the subway, at a restaurant, at a coffee shop, and they're just all looking at their fucking screens. I mean, I'm not trying to judge anyone. I do that shit too, but what's going on here? I can't help but wonder if it's pulling away the fabric of what makes a stable civilization. You know what I'm saying? I mean, people are probably caring less about each other. But on one hand, this stuff could be used for good, if you will. Right? Like a lot of folks just think it's just evil. They're like, oh, there's technology, it's sucking our souls away. We're all going to be fucked. We're all addicted to it, this, that, and the third. It's all evil. But this stuff could also be used as a tool. I mean, look at all the shit we can go on YouTube and learn. It was really helpful when they had the like-dislike ratio enabled. And then they disabled that. That was helpful because you knew if a video was bullshit or not. You go watch a how-to video, and if it had 90% dislikes, you knew whoever the hell made the video really screwed some stuff up. Or it wasn't reliable or something, you know? Now we just don't fucking know because, like, it's offensive to like or dislike a video. What bullshit that is. But of course, you can download the browser extension that I have on all my computers where you can see it again. So it still is applicable. But they kind of took it away in a sense in that for the more broad audience on YouTube, they can't fucking see the like and dislike ratio. Are you kidding me? That's a massive waste of time. Because then that forces you to watch the fucking video and go down and read the comments to get a general consensus. Whereas you kind of knew better. You know, you just knew in general if a how-to video was vastly, vastly disliked. Generally, it's how to not do something, you know? I don't know. I kind of like getting general consensuses on shit. And it took that away, but I digress. The loneliness epidemic, is that what they're calling it? I mean, like I said, fortunately, I have these two guys who I could call, I don't know, any day, you know? Probably go meet up, hang out, or whatever. I had another buddy, and he's dead now. A couple years ago, he died. He liked hitting the bottle a little too much as well. But I mean, as you guys know, I'm married. So I have that, and a lot of guys aren't. What the fuck happens to the guy who's just all on his own in loneliness? You know? There's a lot of guys like that. It's crazy. Especially with how things are these days, where people aren't partnering up anymore as much as they used to. Now you got 10 hoes riding the same damn cock. Because of how dating apps enabled mate selection and optimizing thereof. You know, so you kind of get human nature at work manifested in this shit. And there's a lot of guys who are left out. You know, who want to have a partner, this and that, but they're left out. The bitches aren't choosing them. I mean, you can't really blame them. But with that being said, I don't know. I mean, it seems like it's going to take us in a bad direction. You know, have we ever lived in a time where there were just a bunch of single adults all over the fucking place, just being all promiscuous with each other? And that's that. You know, they say that, like, the family and all that shit is the building block of civilizations. I wonder if that's true. You know, because if you're a guy and you got a wife and then you have a couple kids, you're incentivized to work, make money, provide for your household. You're incentivized to get along well with your community and establish relationships with your community so that you can all kind of help each other if needed. I mean, this shit is kind of getting tossed out the window with how things are today. What the hell is going on here? I mean, personally, I'm not all that concerned. I don't really give that much of a shit. I'm 38 years old. All right, I'm an old dog. Getting older. And I might not have to put up with this bullshit too much longer. I don't know. Who knows what happens, you know? I had some physical ailments, just some injuries in the gym, and you just never know, man, when bad shit happens or when it's going to happen. But I just don't care in the sense that, you know, I have my established order. I have the house. I have the good lady. I have the dog, you know? I have a couple good buddies. But I mean, I just don't know. It doesn't seem like that's really the common story here. There's all these fucking guys who are single. It's crazy. Where's this heading? I mean, what do you guys think? What if the grid goes down or some shit? Nobody's going to know each other. Nobody's going to trust each other, you know? When this ain't like what it was back in the day. Like the Great Depression or whatever. Everybody and their mom had a farm back then, you know, so they could grow food and all that. Even though fake money wasn't working, it wasn't really fake back then. It was backed by silver and gold. That was before the 70s when it was signed off the gold standard. But nonetheless, there was a run on the banks because the money actually held some value in that it was backed by things of intrinsic value like gold and silver in the treasury, which is it is not anymore. But so they had to run on the damn bank, you know, they wanted the damn money, but I mean, at least they all had a fucking farm, you know? At least they grew all their goodies and they all chopped down trees and shit. I mean, what if that stuff happens today? Would that be crazy? People don't have friends. Not close with anyone. What the hell would happen? It'd be like the fucking Walking Dead or some shit. People just eat each other. Because we don't know how to provide. When it comes down to those basics, you know, we know how to provide by going to a fucking factory and working on an assembly line or going to McDonald's and putting a burger together and serving it to somebody, but we don't know how to provide in the sense of making from the ground up sustainability at an individual basis, you know? I mean, I'm not really worried about that shit, but maybe other folks should be. I don't know. Maybe people should be. I don't have any kids, you know, so I don't give much of a fuck what happens after I'm gone. But, you know, for those who do, it's like, I feel like I'd be more invested in this stuff if I had a kid. I'd be more worried about the future and shit. But, you know, I can't help but wonder if there's going to be a sort of resurgence of the old ways. I wonder if there's going to be something coming where, because you know how, like they say, Gen Z is kind of rebellious of the old ways. I don't really of like, are they rebellious? I don't know. Maybe the next one's going to be, but this stuff is all out in the open. How it's not healthy to be staring at a fucking screen all day. You know, it's not healthy to be eating all the processed food and shit. You know, it's not healthy to just be on your damn cell phone all day and not have friends. And people might be waking up to that. And I can't help but wonder if there's going to be a coming generation that withdraws from all that. That are like, oh, yeah, there's social media endlessly, but we just put down our cell phones and are just there and just be. And we meet up with each other and we play games and we exercise. And we don't eat all that bullshit that comes from the supermarket, you know? And we're not gonna, I don't know, just play video games all day or something. We're gonna, even though there's like awesome games out, we're just gonna, what if there's gonna be a backlash to all this? Because on one hand, it seems like that's the more healthy way. Like I sort of try to find a balance. You know, I play some video games, but I mean, I got a channel on it. But everybody needs a break from their day, you know? So I do it anyway if I didn't have the damn channel. But I try to find a balance where I get up, I get some steps in, I do some workouts, then I reward myself. I play the game, or I just do something of leisure. And then, but I'm not great at it. But I'm somewhere in between. But I just wonder how the common folks are, you know? But let me know in the comments what you guys think about this. I mean, folks are lonely, man. You know? Guys, they don't have friends. They don't have hoes. They don't have none of that. I mean, I'm thinking right now, 2 of my 3 buddies are alone. You know, they don't have anybody to care for them, to love them. Neither did my other one before he died. So that's 3 out of 4 who are fucking lonely and shit. Wow. But where you guys stand with all this? What are your thoughts on it? Like the video if you will, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace be with you.